stutter like that. I have hiccups, so don't mind that. Oh god, that's annoying. Somebody going, what if I was in MHA part like 7 or something? I don't know. We're gonna be going over the overhaul arc. So this is gonna be a pretty freaking fun arc because overhaul might get wrecked. So we start off with Deku and Christian go to the Night-Eye Agency, and to show Night-Eye that they're true All Might's #1 fans, they fight. Deku versus Night-Eye goes pretty much normal in canon. I'm kidding. It goes way different. He goes 1 for all 90% and kicks Night-Eye in the face, sending him flying into a wall. But then when he's about to hit the All Might poster, Christian jumps in the way and kicks him, sending him right back to Deku. He's like, Deku, you almost just hit the All Might picture. And then Deku's like, sorry. So then, blah 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 blah. We're gonna go up to the overhaul fight now, so when Deku, the guy who does the deadbolt move, and Aizawa go to find a dead guy, and it's Toga. Toga immediately goes to slice at Christian because she's like, damn you! Because she pretty much hates him, but she likes Izuku. Yeah. She hates him because the United States has smashed and thwarted their plans with All Might, but she still wants his and Izuku's blood. So she goes to stab Aizawa, but out of nowhere she says, you hear 2 words, shoot style! And she gets kicked in the face, sending her into a wall. He spins around and back punches Toga. Then he says, how about this? And grabs her face. But then, out of nowhere, he's kicked in the face. And then he's blasted with fire. Now, I know this didn't happen in canon, but Dabi's here. I'm kidding, Dabi ain't here. Because Shigaraki only told twice and Toga to come. So Toga runs away, blah 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 blah. Now we go on to the overhaul fight. Mirio was about to go for Mirio almost hit with a Corker racing bullet. I didn't know he hears shoot. He hears 2 people saying shoot style, and they send it away, destroying it, sending the Corker racing bullet right back at Overhaul. About to hit him, but then he creates a stone thingy to block it. Then they fight. It's 2 against 1. There you go. And then Eri is like, what can I do? So Deku says, Eri, please lend me some help. And he's like, yeah, Eri, you might want to help him. I don't really need help. I can do this myself. So then Eri gets on Deku's back, and then she uses a rewind quirk, and Deku goes 1 for all. Full cowling! 100%! And Christian says, huh, looks like this will be fun. And he says, 1 for all! Full cowling! 100%! And they both, if Deku was enough to body Overhaul in the normal timeline, then I don't even know what's gonna happen in this one. So he'd basically go, geez, we wreck 'em. Overhaul, we wreck 'em. They'd finish him off with 2 shoot styles blowing off his face, blowing him back. And they get in the car with Overhaul to make sure he gets there. Now this is gonna change something. So when Shigaraki attacks the car, immediately Christian and Thing come out and they're like, and out of nowhere Shigaraki doesn't know what's going on. He's like, he's about to get rid of Overhaul, but then he's hit, and they hear, shoot style! And then they kick him in the face. They kick Shigaraki in the face, and they say, shut it, dirtbag! Then then Dabi comes out of the car and is ready to attack. And then Christian says, oh, edgy, oh, Toya Todoroki. He actually will say Toya Todoroki, because he's like, this guy is definitely Toya Todoroki. He's like, hello, Toya Todoroki. And Dabi's like, what? And he's like, just kidding. And then he goes, shoot style, and kicks Dobby in the face, sending him flying. And that just destroys Dobby, sending him back. And then he says, how about a little more? And then he says, I haven't used this one in a while. Delaware Smash! Boom! Hitting Dobby, sending him even farther. And he says, I haven't done this one either. I have never done this one. This is a new move. Manchester Smash! And he does a front flip, slamming Deku into the ground. Destroy him with no difficulty. He says, what trash? No, not Deku. He says, such trash. But then the whole league arrives. Like Compress. All of them arrive and he's like, shoot! Deku, looks like it's us versus the league. This is crappy. He says, looks like this is the fight of our lives, Deku. You ready? And he goes, yeah! And they both yell, And he says, how about this? One for all, full cowling, 100%! And Deku yells, one for all, what, fully carry it? 100%! They both go 100%. No, okay, I messed that up. They just go one for all, 50%. And they're ready to fight. Then he says, I'll take on Shigaraki. I'll name these four and I'll fight them. Compress, Shigaraki, Dobby, and Toga. Because those are mostly the most dangerous, because Toga can take blood and basically trick the whole league. And that's basically it. I will be right back. Alright guys, back to the battle. So today, I have terrible hiccups. And when I mean terrible, I mean terrible. So we see him fight Compress, Dabi, Shigaraki, and Toga. So immediately Deku would wipe out. Not immediately. They start fighting, and it's really, really hard for him to fight 3. When Shigaraki rushes, he has to grab Shigaraki, slam him into Dabi. When Toga rushes with a knife, he has to break the knife and throw Toga on the ground. When Compress comes, he's got to grab him in the face and slam him onto the ground. He can't really do that much. So they all jump at the same time, and he's like, shoot! But then he says, Delaware Smash! And sends them all back. He's like, And then out of nowhere, his bones start breaking whenever then he says, Detroit Smash! And then his bones, and one of his bones break, and then his arm breaks, and he's like, what the? I thought I was used to one for all. Then he punches again, and he says, shoot style! And kicks Dabi in the face. And he's like, no injuries on my legs? What's going on? He says, maybe that was just a flaw. Let me try Detroit Smash. Again in my other arm. Detroit Smash! Punches Shigaraki in the face. Does nothing. It does actually a lot of damage, but then his arm doesn't break. He's like, what the? And he's like, wait a minute, that wasn't an arm break. That was just an actual, someone else did it. Oh, I have a view. Oh, I thought I had a viewer. Shoot. Whatever. So, they fight, and he's like, damn it. There's nothing I can do. I got one broken arm. Nothing else. Going for it. Out of freaking nowhere, Deku is destroyed them all. Defeated them all. Then comes to help Christian. He's like, no! This is my fight! I will not go. Out of nowhere. Out of freaking nowhere. Now, I'm gonna say that All For One actually went back to the villain base. I'm just gonna say that. And then all of his 5 fingers come right through, impaling Christian in the chest, killing him right then and there, supposedly killing him. Deku's like, tears start to shoot down from Deku's face because his only friend just died. That actually cared full on as a friend. He remembers stuff, and then he yells and goes, 1 for all, full killing, 1,000,000,000,000%. And then starts blitzing All For One, punching him so hard that it's breaking all of All For One's bones. They hear everyone in Class 1 and UA and All Might are seeing. They all rush over and they see Christian having a hole in his chest, and Deku in 1 million, and Deku destroying All For One, and then they see blood coming out of his mouth, and he goes. And then he keeps on coughing out blood. Well, Deku is destroying All For One and the rest of the league. They're like, Deku! And then they look over, and they're like, and then everyone is in horror. They're like, he's like, what happened? And Deku doesn't respond. He goes, and then he keeps on punching All For One in the face. And he's like, and then All Might says, All For One! And then he buffs up into 1 for all and says, no! And punches him and says, 1 for all! He says, 1 for all! Punches All For One in the face. Then they start destroying him. They try and get Christian to recovery girl to finally heal him. They bust down the door in Recovery Girl's office, and Aizawa says, and she says, oh, what now? She's like, no time to complain, Recovery Girl. Heal him, quickly. Oh, and then she is in shock, and she's like, what happened to this boy? All for One pierced him through the chest with his finger thingies, with his finger attack. And she's like, oh no. So she does her healing ability, and yeah, I'll be right back. Again. I'm back. So, basically, he has to be there for a long... She says, it'll not recover him fully. Actually, you barely will recover it. It'll just bring him a little bit back. And then Aizawa says, do the best you can, please. I have to go back and help All Might in Midori. In Midori. So then Aizawa runs off and goes to help. He sees Deku still punching. All Might is sent back because he does not have enough power. Deku powering up even further, going into the octillion %, wrecking his body. His body is gonna. He says, out of nowhere, All Might says, young Midoriya, don't do it. Don't go any further than 1 octillion. If you do, you will die right after this fight. And then Midoriya says, I don't care. At least I'll be with my friend. And wherever he is. And just keeps on pounding down on All for One, beating on him. And then the League of Villains starts to join in. All Might handles them, and so does Aizawa and Bakugo and Todoroki. They all handle him while Deku destroys All for One. And then out of nowhere, Bakugo's like, Deku! And he's like, not now, Bakugo! Don't even try. And he's like, you stupid nerd, I'm coming to help! Yeah, Midoriya, we're coming. It's Todoroki says. Then they blitz over and they're ready to fight. The three, Bakugo and Todoroki, get 1 for all. Deku says, I can assist you with 1 for all. They all put their hands out and Deku gives them 1 for all. They all go 100%! And they all start destroying All for One. Out of nowhere, Aizawa is stabbed in the stomach, sending him back by Toga. Then All Might is kicked back by Dabi, and then the hour ends for All Might, getting blasted by fire by Dabi. Now all Class 1A goes after the League, and they're like, no! And then they start beating down on him. And they start to fight. Everyone's going all out. Aoyama's going all out. Ida's going all out. Minetta's even going all out. Kaminari's going all out. Kirishima goes Red Riot and starts to beat down on all of them. And he says, I'll take care of Toga. She can't stab me or drain any blood. So I'm going into fight. And Kaminari says, I'm coming too. And I'm gonna take some inspiration for Pokemon for Kaminari. Kaminari shocks himself. And then he says, but then he absorbs the thunder and gets thunder armor. I'm not joking this time. Kaminari would blitz over and punch Shigaraki in the face. Kirishima and him were double teaming with Ida stepping in too. And they all start to body the League. But then Mina, Ojiko, Yaoyorozu, Tsuyu, they're all coming in to fight. Mineta even, so then Kirishima and Ida and Kaminari can land big hits when he traps them all together. They're all going full power. No one's holding back against the League. Then the rest of the League gets right back up and they're all ready to fight Class 1A. It's the biggest fight of all time. While Christian is still in the hospital, sleeping, knocked out. Out of nowhere, he sees all the 1 for all users, and they give him all their power, awakening him. He goes, and she's like, oh my, how is he still alive? And then blitzes off, and then runs to the battlefield to come out and help. Out of nowhere, his chest starts to heal. He's healed all the way up, and then he says, 1 for all, full cowling. But in his head, they all give rainbow energy towards him. It's like so then, basically he goes, thank you, all of you. And then he says, 1! And then he blitzes over to the battlefield running. And once he arrives, everyone's like, and Deku is like, And then he's like, I'll handle it. Everyone, get back. And then he says, one, I've learned this from all the one for all users, even All Might. I know everything that's happened. Nana Shimaru. I met that one. I met your master. And she said to look out for All Might. He says, one for all. And then he goes, rainbow, one for all. He doesn't say rainbow, one for all. He says, one for all, full cowling. 1,000,000,000%. He says, one for all, full cowling. 100%. And his hair is rainbow colored. His aura is rainbow. And then he blitzes over to All For One, punching him right through the stomach, and says, goodbye, and slams him into the ground. And she says, this is for... And then he yells to Shigaraki and says, this is for All Might, and punches him in the face. And he says to Toga, this is for Aizawa, and punches her in the face, sending her flying. And then he says, Dobby, this is for Midoriya, and punches him. And then he goes after League and says, this is for Kaminari, and this one's for Kirishima, this one's for Bakugo, and this one's for Todoroki. This is for the hero world. United States of Smash. And kills every single League member, defeating them all with a rainbow glow. And then he says, how about this? All Might, everyone in Class 1A, let's all go! Let's do our ultimate moves and finish them off! Deku says, alright! And they all blitz over to him, and Todoroki says, heaven-piercing wall! Bakugo says, housing impact! Mina goes for her shoot thingy, where she puts both her hands together and shoots the acid. So I don't really know what her move is. Earphone Jack. Everyone else goes their ultimate moves. And Christian says, this is power! And he says, united! And everyone says, states! And then Deku joins him and they say, smash! And they punch through destroying the villains. Right there and then, defeating every single one of them. Killing the League. Ending every single League of Villains member ever to exist. And then he goes, farewell, Deku. And then Christian's like, farewell, Deku. See you in the next life. And Deku goes, what do you mean? And he's like, ha, just kidding. I'm staying right here. And they all start to, and then comes this giant festival. They do a rock band with the best class, and Christian is now rated as the number 3 here is number. And then we're gonna go for a 10 years time skip. No, I'm kidding. Christian is now named the number 1 hero. And Deku is now the number 2. Aizawa is number 3. All Might is actually number 1. All Might's actually number 3. See, Christian and Deku, no, All Might's second. Christian and Deku are now the number 1 heroes. These kids are number 1 because they defeated the whole league that caused so much trouble. And that is it for What If I Was in MHA. Hope you liked the series. Maybe later on I'll upload, or like 30 minutes from now, I'll upload What If Naruto had Minato's Kurama. Oof.